Entertalk Radio. You're in to all things music.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk, and I am Scott, your host, and a man who says, this Valentine's Day, give me all your loving tonight, but let's make sure it's over by like 9 p.m. or I'm very likely to fall asleep, honestly. But and with me in the booth is Paul B.
That doesn't sound like a very, very exciting Valentine's Day you got planned. Although it does sound like a good one.
It's like that Whitesnake song, "Give Me All Your Lovin' Tonight," and then they add in, "But let's wrap it up by 9."
Yeah.
Let's wrap this whole thing up by 9. Hey, so you got any big plans for the big VD, big Valentine's Day?
No big plans.
No big plans?
Nope.
You're going to do Palentine's Day or Dudentine's Day and hang out, or you got a special woman,
I have a special woman, but
friend.
it's a long distance thing, so it's going to have to be like a Skype thing.
Ah, very nice. Little cyber VD.
Little cyber VD, yeah.
Nice.
CVD. It's the safest form of VD.
Paul practices the CVD. There you go. Very nice. Well, that should be a lot of fun. Yeah. I've been married for like 27, 28 years, and so we're gonna hang out and enjoy each other's company and pass out by 9 o'clock. That'd be my guess.
You've built up an immunity to VD by now after 27 years.
An immunity, yes, a solid
some antibodies.
Solid immunity. It's true. It's very true. All right, so who am I? What am I going to do? How do you reach me? Why are you listening to me? That sort of thing. So I am I run a public relations firm in Orange County, California called Robertson Communications, or Robertson Com, as we kind of do the short version of it. And, I help companies. I think all companies deserve to have great marketing, and not all of them do for a lot of really, easy to fix basic reasons. So I try to go in there and fix those things and keep my clients on the straight and narrow in terms of, marketing strategy and that sort of thing. We also do, public relations at the firm, and I work with companies of all kinds, but I tend to specialize in music industry clients, and technology startups is another one that I love to work on. It's a lot of fun. So how do you reach me? You send an email to scott@robertsoncom.com, 2 M's like communications, or you can find me on Twitter @robertsoncom, 2 M's. You can send me a message there, or just tweet me, and throw my name in something, and I'll probably see it. And also facebook.com/robertsoncom. And also I am a certified story brand guide now, so I help clients create even better brand stories, website wireframes, sales copy, and of course PR and all that kind of fun stuff. You are smart because you are tuned into the episode 147 of the show today. And I call this one PR Beyond the Press Release. If I say PR, public relations, chances are you're going to immediately think of a press release. But the problem is that the world has really changed. It continues to change, and the PR profession is really evolving past this tool in some very interesting new areas. So we're going to talk about kind of the past, present, future of PR and its primary weapon of choice, the press release. We'll also, being that it's Valentine's Day, we will swipe left or swipe right on a few winners and losers in the marketing world this week. I got some really good ones. People never cease to amaze me. It doesn't matter if I take a couple of weeks off to do the show and I come back and I'm like, I wonder what's going on in the world of marketing. And there's just a whole new bucket of stupid, honest to God, every single week to pull from. And also some really, some good things too. So some good milestones that we want to recognize. And we'll still have time to collect all that Valentine's Day love from fans and friends alike on another Valentine-worthy edition of the big show here. So let's talk about the press release. Press release, been around for a long time. PR uses it. It's got a headline. It's got, it organizes the facts. It has a dateline. Really, it's a tool that is sort of, was designed certainly at the beginning of, when the profession first started, as a really quick way to get the facts in the hands of a reporter. So a reporter could look at it and say, okay, I got the who, what, when, where, and why of what's going on here. I got a quote from somebody. I got some stuff. I have the pieces I need to write a story, right? And that's great, and that's well and good, and we still use it for that. Don't think that we don't use it. It's just that we've been talking about this for several years. As long as I've been doing this show, we've been talking about the thinning of the newsrooms in this country. There are fewer targets to pitch and place earned media in the media today. So and also there's a huge rise in the number of organizations that are pitching. I read a statistic that now PR professionals outnumber journalists 6-1. So there's 6 of me for every one working journalist in this country, and that means you got to be really good. I mean, you got to be really good. You got to have good relationships. You can't do, you just can't get away with. There's no margin for error because they have another 5 people they could pick from if you can't deliver. So, there's been a lot of media consolidation since the Great Recession of 2008, right? And we're going to talk about one of those today. Another big newspaper chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and a lot of and this changes how we use the press release, right? If you're going to be out there, if you're sending out press releases and just sort of expecting that to be the way that you're going to get news coverage, you're dreaming. You're absolutely smoking dope. There's no way that that's going to work unless your press release happens to be. I mean, you just get lucky, and you're working for a medical company, and they came up with a cure that may or may not cure the coronavirus. That press release is going to get coverage, folks. You know what I mean? If you get lucky in a news window, yeah, that could always happen. But PR is going to have to evolve into doing some other stuff, and the profession is evolving. Another thing I want to make sure to mention, because I talked to a couple of marketing consultants this week, and they were under the impression that if you do press releases and you put them out over the wire, that it gives you an SEO bump in your it gives you a search engine optimization bump. Now, see, this used to be true. However, Google, being the ever smart technology company that it is, they figured out what we were doing. They figured out what the PR profession was doing, and they said, we're going to change the algorithm, and we're going to we're going to tweak the algorithm to where these results don't come up as rewarded content. And therefore, I'm here to tell you on this edition of the program that if you do a press release and you put it over the wire, you will get absolutely zero SEO value for that. You just got to know that. You just got to know that the algorithm has changed. You got to know it. It's really important. Like I said, I had 2 professional marketing consultants today, or not even today, it was earlier this week, contact me, and they had no idea. They said, well, this other PR firm told us that if we do a press release, we're going to get an SEO bump. You're not. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you can go ahead and try it, and then when you don't, come and see me, and I'll show you how to really do public relations. But that's not how we do it. It is how we would do it if Google allowed it. Don't think that we're above it. I did it for years. I mean, it was a very nice extra bonus for spending the hundreds and hundreds of dollars to put a press release over the wire. However, as they say is the first sentence of The Lord of the Rings, the world has changed. You need to change with it. Very, very important. So what value, do press releases have today? Plenty. Okay. It is a tool that's still designed to give media the facts, the specifications, the details, so they can possibly report on something that you're doing. On the product side of things, I do a lot of new product launches, releases for music companies, for technology companies. You have to have a press release. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to send them a blog post and say, we're so excited today. And they're going to be like, yada, yada, yada. Remember I mentioned there were fewer reporters in the world than ever before? That means they have less time than ever to deal with your marketing BS. Okay? So I had one company that said, well, we just do blog posts and we send those to the press. The press hate you when you do that. They hate you. They hate you, your family, generations of your family. They hate all of you for doing that because you just said, I'm going to create a happy, fun little marketing blog post with a bunch of marketing bullshit in it, and then I'm going to send it to the media who are super time constrained and need the facts, the specifications, the details. They need, the specifics to get stuff done so they can do a job, right? Save your blog post for people that, for your community. I do think you should do a blog post when you announce something, but don't you ever confuse that with sending a tool that's designed to do something for the media. We work with the media in a very specific way. And when you send them your blogs, you are lazy. You are lazy and you deserve to lose and you deserve to not get coverage. Remember we talked about the E word when you're talking about publicity? That word is earned. The part where you earn it is when you design a specific tool for the media. And then for a long time, people were sending press releases. They were taking news releases and sending them to audiences that weren't the media. And then I'd have CEOs come up to me and say, well, this isn't very exciting. And I said, trust me, it's a tool. It's exactly the hammer and nail that the media need to get done. We need to get done. Well, Scott, this needs to be more exciting. Bull crap. It does not need to be more exciting. It needs to be accurate. It needs to be accurate. And it needs to tell the story so that when you convince a reporter to run the story, they get it right. Remember, time constrained, right? You know what the odds are that they're going to get your story wrong if you don't have it very, very clear in your press release? Very high. Very, very high. You're going to get that awesome coverage and it's going to be wrong. And then you're going to have to go back and ask them to update it and that kind of thing. And why do that? Just get it right the first time, right? Really, really important. Don't ever send press releases and stuff to investors and act like that they're the right audience for that. They're not, because investors are not sitting there going, well, I'm going to create a news story based on this. For investors, yeah, you need more flowery language. You need more marketing language. Use your blog posts. Create, a special tool just for your investors. Stop being so lazy and using the same tool for every audience. It's important in communications that we kind of meet the audience where they are, not because it's the easiest, laziest thing for us to knock out on a Friday afternoon. Okay? Learn that, people. I mean, seriously, that's really, really important. I've had to correct a lot of people, over the years in not understanding what the hell a press release is and why we do it and what we don't use it for and that kind of thing. So let's talk about. I saw this story about some of the new roles that PR has taken on, and I don't think you can have a good conversation about the press release and where PR is evolving without talking about some new roles. So, according to a state of a company called Talkwalker's State of PR report, they said that PR is now 77% in charge of social media management. Yeah, that's definitely true. PR takes a huge role in, it takes a big role in handling social media management. Let's see, content marketing is another really big one for us. We spend a lot of time doing content marketing. Let's see, influencer marketing. We talked about influencers a lot on this program, and influencer marketing is a really, really important place for PR to be. PR has been, influencer marketing is sort of a new term. Everybody's like, oh, well, YouTube and that kind of thing. PR has been doing influencer marketing since before your parents were born. Just so we're all on the same page. Influencer marketing is going out to people who have influence in the market, right? So analysts, when tech PR was growing up in sort of the 80s and 90s and that sort of thing, we work with a lot of analyst firms and that kind of thing. I mean, that's all influencer marketing. That's all that is. Now they just happen to have a camera pointed at them and followers on YouTube and selling ads and stuff. A really important, interesting one that is evolving and continues to evolve is link building for SEO. Remember we talked about you're not going to get an SEO bump for your press release. I'm sorry, you're not. You're just let it go. Google changed it. Just let it go. But one thing that we can do for SEO is that we can approach, if SEO evaluates, and says, hey, these 10 sites are really showing up great for our keywords. It'd be great if they mentioned us. We can pitch that. If they do product reviews, we can get a review. If they do news stuff, maybe we can penetrate with a news story. If they are looking for, technical expertise and some sort of contributed byline content or something, maybe we can play a role in that. We can play a role in building up links for SEO. And of course, everybody in PR that I know today, you have to know SEO. You have to know how, being found for a business these days involves being found on search engines, and you better just know it. You better just know how to do it. It's very, very important. So anyway, I thought that we should definitely just dig into that for a second. Some interesting new roles. So beyond the press release, we're still storytellers. We're still masterful storytellers and that kind of thing. But we do it in a little bit different way, right? We do own that blog. PR can own that blog. We can interview our customers. We can do some better storytelling than we ever certainly could, even being with the confines and the constrictions of working with sort of the earned media. It really sets PR free in a lot of ways to be able to create. I mean, you can create videos, that are, case studies. In terms of videos, there's so many things that you can do in terms of your storytelling. Really, really, just important stuff, right? And again, and the last thing that I want to say, just beyond the press release, is just the idea of influencers and the idea of, do these influence in the music industry, for example. There's about 20, 30 YouTube channels that really draw in a lot of musicians and guitar players and those kind of things. How can we penetrate those? Is there a way that we can get, our products reviewed on there? Is there, a way that we can, is there a way that we can work with them? Sometimes the P word comes up and they say, well, this is going to be like a paid opportunity and we're going to have to pay this person. As long as it's disclosed correctly according to the FTC guidelines, you're in good shape. And as long as it's disclosed to their audience, okay, then you're still going to be in good shape. So, lots of stuff we can do in terms of public relations beyond just the press release. And I hope I got you thinking about some of that. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and losing this week in marketing. Talk to you in a few.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk, the undisputed leader of Music Biz Talk. And I am Scott, your host. We're hanging out. It's Valentine's Day. Paul's here. He's
so lonely.
Waiting to call his cyber
lonely.
girlfriend.
Hey,
he's waiting.
She's a supermodel. She lives in Canada. She's totally real.
False supermodel girlfriend who lives in Canada. Oh, man.
And it's totally real.
I think she's totally real.
You met her. You met her at NAMM.
Oh, I met her. She's. You know what? She's totally real. She is
real.
totally freaking real.
Scott wouldn't lie to you on Valentine's Day.
No, not at all. Let's talk about who's winning and losing. Man, we have some. So let's start with Rihanna. You know Rihanna. Her brand of lingerie has been accused of deceptive marketing by an ad watchdog group called Truth in Advertising. They have filed a deceptive marketing complaint with the FTC and the California regulators against her brand, which is called Savage X Fenty. There you go. They've drawn in millions of dollars of investment funding, and they've been lauded for their inclusive sizing and diverse marketing. Wonderful. But Truth in Advertising is not happy. They allege that the lingerie company deceptively promotes discounts and prices that are only available to consumers who are part of the company's membership program without clearly disclosing the fact that without disclosing that in its marketing. So basically, you've got one price for members. They clickbait you over there. You click on it. You realize, oh, I don't have an extra VIP membership, which means a different thing in certain circles. But if you don't have a VIP membership, they give you they change your price in your shopping bag and that sort of thing. So anyway, Rihanna's in all kinds of trouble, all kinds of losing. Somebody was asking me, they said, are you surprised that Rihanna doesn't respond to the complaint and come out and kind of use a celebrity? No, I'm not surprised. This is an FTC matter and that sort of thing. And this is a company, that's owned by her. There's a lot of legalities to this kind of thing. She'd only make it worse by coming out and talking about it. And chances are she is not day to day in the operations of the company. I would bet money that when they explain the VIP membership and subscription style models and that stuff to Rihanna, she's working on movies, she's working on an album. She doesn't know anything about this stuff. I guarantee you. So it's not strange that she wouldn't respond to it. But of course, all the news outlets are picking it up because it is her brand and that kind of thing, and her name is on it. All kinds of losing. We'll keep track and see how the FTC ends up settling up with them. Man, WhatsApp this week reached 2 billion active users. This is important because the messaging side of things is really interesting. WhatsApp, really the leader. Do you know who owns WhatsApp? Would you like to take a guess? Would you guess that it is the hoodie-wearing dude that also owns Facebook and Instagram? Would you guess that's who it is? Because that's who it is. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg really sees privacy-focused communications as the future of social networking. This is the most ironic statement on the planet. I mean, to privacy-focused communications. Oh, man. Jeez, that's funny coming from Facebook. So, there's an interesting you should go to social media today and check out the whole story on WhatsApp, because there is a graphic here that shows, who kind of owns the messaging space. And if you look at it really closely, Facebook owns it, but nothing with the Facebook Messenger, the text and video chat for free app, is really dominant in North America and also dominant in Australia. However, WhatsApp is really dominant in South America, in Russia, in Africa, in India, in those kind of things. And then there's a few other little ones like WeChat and some other ones like that. But particularly battleground is really the India, Malaysia. WeChat is really big in China. I believe that is because they may have outlawed they may have outlawed Messenger and WhatsApp in China to get their own little WeChat. If you look at the graphic, you just see like China and the neighboring countries to China, and that's the only part of the map that WeChat has, which is interesting. And of course, this is all about kind of one-to-one messaging. And advertisers haven't figured out a way to penetrate your feeds yet. However, they're gonna. Just so you know, Zuckerberg can easily be bought. He will sell you. He will sell you on Messenger. He will sell you on WhatsApp. There is no doubt about it. So it's going to be interesting. But for right now, definitely winning because 2 billion active users on WhatsApp. If you're a marketer, you pay attention to WhatsApp as well. It is what they call it Facebook's largest messaging platform, which is weird because Facebook has its own messaging platform, but that is actually the truth. So there you go. I usually talk about politics, but I got to talk about this one. Mike Bloomberg, Democratic presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg, is now paying popular Instagram meme accounts to post content about the billionaire as part of its social media offensive ahead of the 2020 election. This is the worst idea in the history of bad ideas. What other person can we name that started out with a Twitter campaign and said, "Oh, create memes about me. Go ahead and just create memes about me." Who was that? That was Bill Cosby. Remember that? Bill Cosby came out years ago, and said, "Yeah, go ahead and meme me." What's the worst that could happen? What was the worst that could happen? I mean, if you guessed bringing up a bunch of old charges resulting in your butt going to prison and your legacy being destroyed and everything that you worked for your entire life being destroyed, then that is the worst that could happen. And that is what happened. This is a dumb idea. It's a dumb idea. From a communication standpoint, here's why this is dumb. If they're not going to meme about you ordinarily, right, you do not want to pay people to do that. You're talking about a group of people who are going to take that to a negative place. That's like all these companies that say, "Hey, let's have the internet name our next product." That is also the dumbest idea in the history of dumb ideas that you can do. Because what is your product going to be? That's how you're going to get Bodie McBoatface. That's how you're going to get, and then you're going to be stuck with it. Don't ask the internet to name things. Don't pay people on the internet to meme things about you. That is stupid. That will be, if you did that with the objective of, let's make Mini Mike sound really great and let's make him sound really cool to the kids, who are really going for Bernie Sanders and that kind of thing. Let's make him sound really cool to the kids. That's not going to happen. Why is that? Why is that not going to happen? Because influencers have a bit of influence, but they're not going to be able to move it that much, right? They're not going to be able to change it that much. This is just, it's so dumb. It's so incredibly, incredibly dumb. And it's going to backfire in the worst possible way. It already has. I mean, there's all kinds of, they're already just the meme makers and influencers on the internet are already making fun of this. I mean, I can't even do it justice. You just need to go and look at some of the memes that are being created and stuff. They are just, it's just so stupid. I mean, while a meme strategy may be new to presidential politics, we're betting it will be an effective component to reach people where they are and compete with President Trump's powerful digital operation. Oh, man. I mean, it's like, I can't say anything else about this. There's no way this is going to work. There's no possible way this could turn anything but negative. And, just don't. If this is part of your strategy, find a heavy object and smash yourself in the face with it as many times as you can. All right? Don't do stupid things like this in your communications. Jeez, what a mess. Losing, all kinds of losing. Let's talk about McClatchy, publisher of dozens of U.S. newspapers. They just filed for bankruptcy protection. They publish such fun titles as the Miami Herald, the Kansas City Star, dozens of other newspapers. They're filing for bankruptcy protection. They have 30 newsrooms across the country. Apparently, they're going to operate as usual as they reorganize under Chapter 11. But what's interesting is when they talk about the revenue of the company. So McClatchy expects fourth quarter revenues of $183.9 million, down 14% a year earlier. Its 2019 revenue is expected to be down 12.1% from the previous year. That means, now this is what you pay attention to. That means the publisher's revenue will have slid for 6 consecutive years. You know, the newspaper business is it's a tough business these days, man. And it's a shame. It's a real shame too. You know, I mean, it's just that McClatchy can't evolve this and bring this up, because pretty soon, you know, we got to have a place for journalists to work in this country, you know, and we're running out of places. I mean, we really are. It's very sad. Oh, let's move on to IKEA. McClatchy's definitely losing, by the way. So, IKEA is going to host a sleepover at one of its stores here in Southern California next month. Here we go. So they're going to host a showroom sleepover at the stores in Southern California and also in Brooklyn, New York, coinciding with on March 13th, coinciding with World Sleep Day. In case you didn't know it, there is a World Sleep Day. They may have made up World Sleep Day just for this. And if you say, by the way, that PR companies don't make stuff like that up, I've made stuff up. You know, I've been in a room. We've created days and weeks and months of things, and then you just kind of file it and get it, and you just start doing it, and it becomes a thing. Yeah, absolutely. You can create things like that. How do you think like Hot Dog Day gets started and Pancake Day and crap like that? I mean, that's not a day. You know, somebody, you know, wants an excuse to talk about hot dogs and pancakes. And IKEA wants to talk about sleep. And so they are going to do this sleepover event on World Sleep Day. So starting next week, you can enter a contest for a chance to win an overnight stay for yourself and a friend at the store, with 20 potential winners per location. The fun-filled night, which in parentheses I'm sure is going to include some really serious internal security, is going to include food, interactive activities, prizes, movies, and an insomniac lounge, and more, according to IKEA's website. Nice. Unless you plan to stay up all night long in our insomniac lounge, they say. They're going to accept entries, then they're going to select winners, and the contest is open to any member of the IKEA family, which may be you if you bought something from IKEA. I don't know. When I first read this, I thought losing in a big way, because somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to not get picked, somebody's going to get raped. You know, I mean, some ill-gotten crap is going to happen, but assuming you have the right people involved and you've screened them and you have, you know, proper security and the building doesn't burn down and all those kind of things are happening, it's actually not bad. I've changed my mind by you know, thinking about this one for a little bit of time. I think you know, they're getting a lot of headlines for it. They're going to get traffic on their website for it. They're going to get people, you know, showing up at the store asking questions about it. It gives them something. Nobody knew there was a World Sleep Day anyway. So I think this might be a, you know, at the very least, like neutral. You know, like I said, I thought it was going to kind of be a big loser and that kind of thing, but it may be a winner when all is said and done. We'll have to kind of see in March how this one turns out. So there you go. Let's talk about the Oscars for a second. The Oscars, all award shows are in big trouble, but the Oscars lost 6 million viewers from last year, and they set an all-time new low. They only got 23.6 million total viewers on ABC. So basically, in the key demographic of adults 18 to 49, the year-to-year drop-off was even steeper. They received only a 5.3 rating in that demo, which is down 31%. Okay? That's real tough. If you're selling ads, that kind of thing, and you got a 31% drop in the 18 to 49 demo, that's going to be really tricky. I think that there are a lot of reasons why award shows aren't working. I think one of the biggest ones, though, is the fact that we have access to these celebrities 24/7. They can tweet, they can Insta post, they can WhatsApp you, they can, we used to have to tune into award shows so we could see what's going on with Brad Pitt and we could see what's going on. But now we have access to their minds all the time because of social media and that kind of thing. So it's really not that special when they show up there and I watched the Oscars. I may be one of the few, actually. I was one of the few that they got, actually. And I thought it was really slow. I thought that, the speeches were too long. I thought that it wasn't, there were a couple things on it. There were a couple performances that were pretty good. I just remember thinking, I just said, man, these things are going to die. There's no way that this is sustainable on television for more than another couple of years. They lose another few million viewers next year and the year after, and the Oscars is going to be an online streaming event on ABC.com. They're going to cut the crew by 2/3. Or they're going to have the biggest party that nobody ever saw in your life. So I think that is, they're definitely losing. And all award shows are in that boat too. Last one I want to cover is there's been a mysterious radio signal from deep space that's been repeating in a 16-day cycle. And just in case it's aliens and they're going to show up and destroy us all, we want to make sure we know what day and time we need to come back to and, so we can restore the world. But basically, these new radio blasts are coming from 500 million light years from Earth, and it repeats every 16 days, and nobody knows why. That is, I encourage you to read all about that. FoxLA.com is a good story on it. There's a couple of good, Popular Science is a good story on it as well. So make sure you check that out. I think that one is really interesting, especially since there's no real explanation for it. But we all could be losing if that turns out to be the signal that we think it could be. So, anywho, that's all who's winning and losing this week. I'll come back and I'm going to give you a few tips on how to do PR really well in 2020 and beyond.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EntertalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody, it's Friday. It's Valentine's Day. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm still Scott, hanging out with Paul. We just did Who's Winning and Losing. Paul, what did you like from the cavalcade of stuff?
Well, Bloomberg. I'm
My God.
excited to see that train wreck.
My God. How do people in 2020 make a recommendation like that? After what happened to Bill Cosby, how do you make a recommendation like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane how stupid that is.
I mean, you know, it's bad enough that these elite people like get to the point where they're so out of touch with people, but when they try to force some sort of like in touchedness,
oh my God! But
like, you know, you gotta like, the gap is pretty big at this point. You can't just start jumping into meme culture.
We're going to pay a bunch of people in meme culture to meme Mike Bloomberg. It's not going to be positive. Most memes are vicious, absolutely vicious. They take your worst characteristic and just, and just come out with it, right? And
the whole point with them is you can't really, fake it and figure out what's going to go viral or not. Like, you could put money and fake it, but it's not going to be a meme.
Pretty soon you're going to see like the angry woman and the cat and like arguing over which one of Mike Bloomberg's policies is going to suck the most.
I was just thinking the same thing.
You're like, oh, you think that is? It's like, isn't that the guy that cut out the supersized sodas? Oh man, it's just, I mean, oh, my God. I mean, these are people that have a job in communications. You're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to be better.
Yeah, but when like Mr. Moneybags comes at you and be like, look, I have like $500 million to spend on memes. Like, you want the job? You'd be like, sure. It's your money, old man. Why not?
I mean, if Mike Bloomberg is my client and he comes to me and says, I would like to have the world meme me. I think it'd be kind of funny. I say, Grandpa, let me explain something to you, dumbass. The internet is not nice in any capacity, and everybody that has ever asked for what you're asking for has gotten ripped apart by the internet. I mean, he's already getting ripped apart just for being himself. Yeah. I mean, should we go take a ride on Bodie McBoatface over in the UK if we need? Do we need more proof?
Let's take a ride.
Name the damn boat, Bodie McBoatface.
Let's get in Bodie McBoatface and take a cruise to the conspiracy side of Reddit. See what they think of Bloomberg.
Oh my God, that one was it's so bad. I don't even like to do politics on the show because but that's as a communication strategy. Come on, man. Come on.
He'll find out. He'll learn. He'll find out the hard way.
You should just call Bill Cosby in his jail cell and say, Bill, how did that meme me thing work out for you? How'd that work out? Oh, my God. Oh, God. Let's move on. All right. So this whole show, we've been talking about PR beyond the press release. I'm going to tell you how to do PR really well in 2020. We talked about, a lot of changing trends and things. Here's how you keep up. Tip number 1. Know your story. Really map it out, right? Really understand your story from different angles. Do you have is our story going to be about let's say we make world-class guitars, or we make fun instruments for people that cherish their instruments and that kind of thing. what is our story? What can our, how can we use that for all of our content creation? A lot of these jobs kind of got siloed out, right? The person that did the website was sometimes the IT person. That is not the right person to write things, because usually they've got like a bunch of wadded up Snickers bar wrappers and crushed Pepsi cans and crap around their desk, and they roll down the hallway in their little tennis shoes that have wheels that pop out of them and crap, and they're not exactly going to be the right messaging person. They're not writers. They're not trained to be writers, right? So you need writers that write stuff, and make sure, like for all of my clients, we have a message map, which has, what's our positioning statement? What's our brand based on? What are our benefits? Those kind of things. Use that map. Pass that thing out. Make sure you have mapped out everything. Do messaging. I offer that kind of thing to my clients where we go in and do messaging sessions, and we really, really work on the message, and we come out of it with a really sharp message map. And then you have the tool that you need to create all of your content. A lot of companies rush through that, and they hire, a great graphic designer who's not a writer, or they hire a great web, company that's not made up of writers, or they hire a great, a great SEO company and that kind of thing who don't have any writers. And I mean, are you getting my point? Before anything needs to happen, the writing and the story needs to happen. If you're if you're responsible for PR in an organization, that means you're in charge of story, right? You're in charge of what is our story, and how do we continue to push it. Number two, look for ways to merchandise what you have in your company versus what the media want and need. Maybe you have subject matter experts that can speak to the media and be available to be quotable and be in the stories. Maybe you're sitting on a whole bunch of data, a bunch of data that you can release and release it as an aggregate, or chop that up in some way or release that. What sort of announcements do you have? The press always have a need to run something new. What do you have that's new? That kind of thing. Do you have review units that people can check out your product and take it for a test drive and write a review for you? That kind of thing. Whatever you have, look for ways, beyond, we're talking about going beyond a press release, right? None of those things have anything to do with a press release. Right. Although you could, if you have, data and it leads to a certain conclusion, it's pretty cool, then that could be a press release, certainly. And I would encourage that if you, if you do have that, so that you, mainly so that you put the tool in the hands of the press and they get it right. You don't want them to screw up the data or something, or get the story wrong in some way. So you're really just helping them out. But like I said, it's really, really important to kind of look around the organization, look around your clients, and say, what do we have that the media want and need, and the media have a lot of wants and needs. There was a website that was started, really sort of an email feed and a website that was actually bought by a larger company later on, called Help a Reporter Out, Haro, HARO. And it was, it was started by Peter Shankman, I believe. And really and it was a great idea, right? The media need things. There are companies out there. It's really just a matchmaking between what the media need on a daily basis and what you might have, I've used it before. There have been some times when I've had what the media want and need. I've used it to get earned placements for my clients. But, again, really, really, it's really important to, to look around at all of the assets that you have, map those out, figure out what you're going to have, like I said, and ask and the media kind of what they want and need, what you can kind of work together that way. Tip number 3, meet face-to-face with editors as much as you can. It really does change the relationship. If you're, even if you're, in this day and age, so much PR is done, via email. You send a pitch, they bounce back and say, I'm not interested, or I am interested, or whatever. But and that becomes a kind of relationship. But once you meet with somebody face to face, and you've had a meeting, together and that kind of thing, it changes and elevates the relationships. That's why I'm such a big fan of trade shows, because we do nothing but book nonstop media meetings. Have them come in. We can explain our products. We can explain what we have. We can, if the media outlet wants to shoot video and that sort of thing, we can make that available and make that easy for them, so they don't have to, find a spoke. You know what I mean? There are ways you can make that stuff easy for people. So, but meet face to face. I also like going to sometimes I go to these like PepCom events with clients, where you just kind of get a table, and we did a holiday gift one for a client in New York. And again, you're meeting with some editors that would not give you the time of day if you're emailing them. Well, first, it's not that they're jerks or anything. They're busy. They're super, super busy. And if they've made time to come see everybody in a room one night, and you've made time, then it's kismet, man. You're right there, and you have the opportunity to meet those folks face to face and ask them what they're working on, and look for ways that maybe you might have something, that kind of thing. But I really do think, I met with this company and they said, "Oh, well, we did PR for so long. We just sent out press releases and we never got any coverage and that kind of thing. And so we just really don't think PR is very good." And I said, "Well, you didn't do PR. I mean, you sent out press releases. You did that, but that's not public relations. What I do at a trade show, that's public relations. And that's media relations and influencer relations. Really, that when you meet people face to face, you're developing a relationship. And if your client is developing that relationship with them too, it's great. That's what you want. Believe me, you need that goodwill sometimes when a crisis hits. If you have a face-to-face relationship with an editor and you've worked with each other and that kind of thing, they're going to give you a great deal more leniency than the company that they just contact a helpline and they say, "I'm sorry, we have no comment on this," kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's just setting yourself up for bad stuff to happen. So again, meet face to face, very important. Number 4, pick your shots, right? You're not going to have something newsworthy. This is another thing that clients do that kind of, it upsets me sometimes, is they contact me and say, "Well, how can we be in major media, every single month?" You can't. You need to pick your shot. You need to pick out when you're going to have something in the course of the year and kind of plan your attack carefully. Are we launching a bunch of new products? Are we doing that in conjunction with the trade show? Are we going to try to come out and do some media preview things that are in front of that? Those kind of things. Pick your shots. There's a lot of strategy to this. There's a lot of chess to this, right? It's not just about, how do we get in, on the Today Show every single month? You're not. You ever watch the Today Show? They don't cover the same companies. Maybe they cover you once every 2 or 3 years. I mean, they don't do that. Is just a good way to say that. And if you have been covered recently on a show, don't go back to that show for a while. Make sure that you understand that even if you have another great story, the minute that your contact brings that up in a pitch meeting, they get shot down. In a not so nice way. If you've ever been in those TV pitch meetings, and I have, they aren't nice. They go for the throat, personally, at people who are pitching stuff. So it's really, it's a tough environment to be in. Some of those. Make sure you understand, as a PR person, it's your job to understand every facet of the journalist's job, right? And the more that you can do that, the more useful you're going to be able to be to them. And that's, I always say we're kind of overpaid editorial assistants, and that's what I mean by that. So, again, look at the entire year, figure out what are our windows. What are our windows, especially with the national news media. Do we think that we have something, in this quarter or in this quarter? Like I said, are we planning on being at some trade shows coming up? If you're going to CES, there's more than 3,000 media at CES, right? There's also, thousands and thousands of brands and companies of all sizes there too. So, something like that might be a good strategy for doing like a PepCom event where you make an investment to have a table at the events, but they're going to bring in a lot of the big press looking for what's going to be hot at the show, that kind of thing. That can be a really strategic thing. Those are more and more expensive every year, but still there could certainly be a lot of value there for you. If you look at what kind of media are going to be at the trade show, it's going to be pretty high level. Tip number 5, when you're creating your press assets, don't forget about high quality images and video. There isn't a media outlet that I work with that isn't looking for high quality images and or video, usually video, right? And you're like, oh, well, I'm working with Guitar World magazine, so I don't need to send video. Wrong. You didn't used to have to send video, but now you do. This day you do. And right here in 2020, you definitely do. And even if they don't use it, you have provided it. So, you can't force somebody to use it, but if you provide it and it's good, people are going to like that. I have a client that makes guitars, right? And they created some great lifestyle images of the guitars, some people playing it, really beautiful, arty kind of things. One of the trade magazines bounced back to me and says, yeah, I can't use this crap. I need a white background. I need the guitar on a white background. And if you get me that, then I'm going to put you in the magazine, right? Pretty straightforward. So don't overthink it either. Okay. Right. I mean, understand that, you got to kind of fit in with what they're doing. And if it's a trade magazine, then you're never going to go wrong. You're never going to go wrong having an image on a white background that can be used a lot of different ways. You're taking a chance if you create these like lifestyle images of people playing and things like that, because it's for a lot of reasons. One of the most important reasons is they want to do it their way, and they want to have just the raw materials to kind of be able to cut out the pieces and arrange them just so. So, like I said, don't overthink it. It's very, very important. And don't forget that video. Don't forget that video. In 2020, if we're talking press assets, we're talking video. Very, very important. So what have we learned, folks? We learned that PR is evolving, and the smart pros have really learned to think beyond press releases and really connect with that story in new ways. Change is always scary, but it can be really, really exciting, if you stay in front of it and you use your creativity. You can do it. All companies deserve better marketing. It's up to us to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. Get out there and kill it. That's it for me, folks. I'll be back next week with a fresh show. Rock and roll. See ya. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Entertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?